Hey guys, and welcome back to the HobbyDude007 channel. It's that time of year that our business squad room is in full swing, and we are having some fun and doing well. And it's taken a little bit of time away from the bench, but I do want to squeeze in as many videos as possible. This weekend we're going to be in Columbia, South Carolina for the South Carolina Mega Show, which I shared some information on that a couple of videos back, and I'm going to be touching on that here in just a second. But for this video, I want to do some show shout outs so you can go ahead and get them on your calendar, some of which are way down the road, and we'll be talking about them more and more. But they're good enough shows that I want to repeatedly share these with you so you'll get on the calendar. Because, hey, I want to meet you. So, and besides that, I guarantee these shows you're going to have some fun. Also, I had someone ask about the use of the contour gauge, so I want to do just a short demo on that. And I want to share with you a couple little other bench updates real quick. I'll try to keep it as short as I can, as well as something really cool I picked up from my buddy Bob Sparks. So stick around and we'll get into it. First up, some show shout outs real quick. Some of these, in fact, probably all of them I've touched on once, but they're worth going over again so you can get your calendar marked. This Saturday, June 8th, and yes, I know this is kind of last minute, but if you're in the area and can do it, this is, I think, going to be worth going to. This is June the 8th in Columbia, South Carolina. There's your information. If you want maybe some of the info on the brochure and all, you can go to, well, there's the QR code right there too, scmegashow.com, and again, you can scan the QR code there, and you can, well, if I can get it in focus, and get information. Again, guys, this is a show I've never been to. When I was reading the rules and the judging stuff, I've never seen anything like this one. I've never participated in anything like this one, so it's going to be new to me. But I'm curious, and I'm eager to get you guys a report back on it and how it operates, how it works, all that stuff. If you want more information, you can go back a couple of videos and check out the show shout outs there, because I go really into depth on this and what sprang my curiosity and all about it. But looks like it's going to be a fun show. I know there's going to be a lot of vendors that were there in the show back in April. I had mentioned they're going to be back, so I know there'll be good vendors, and I know a lot of my friends are going to be there that we'll have some good fellowship and some fun with. So like I said, if you're in the area this Saturday, come on down. It's from 9, as I understand, it says 9 to 5, but as I understand it, they're usually out of there well before then. But if not, if you can't make it, don't worry about it. I'll be covering it, the show. I'll be doing some filming and give a report on how the show went. Next up, the Low Country show. And by the way, a lot of people wondered about the CKM show in Clemens, North Carolina. There was a venue change, and there was some other difficulties there, so they're not going to have one this year, but they'll be back probably bigger and better than ever next year. I hate we miss it this year, because that was always an absolutely fantastic show. CKM always, Carolina Custom Modelers always does just an absolutely fantastic show. But July, we have the Low Country Nationals that is hosted by the South Carolina Modelers Association Charleston chapter, and this is on July 27th, and it will be at Trident Technical College in North Charleston. You can go to the Facebook page. I think they've got this brochure on the Facebook page for SCMA Charleston, or you can just check the SCMA page. Really good stuff. They always put on, as SCMA does, the Hope It Don't Snow show and the spring show there in Simpsonville, which we just covered. Always does a really good show. This one's usually got some great vendors as well. And like I said, I think the flyer you can probably get off of the page there. And there's your categories. All that stuff will be there. And this is July the 27th. So mark your calendar for that, and I'll see you there, and we'll have some fun. And next is one I have browbeat, but let me tell you, I've been going to this show for over 25 years, probably 20, 25 years, This is a fantastic show. The Acme Group, Atlanta Car Modeling Enthusiasts, always host the Southern Nationals. In this year, it's in, like last year, Cartersville, Georgia. Absolutely awesome bunch of guys. These guys, you can tell by the quality of the show, the facilities for the host hotel, their participation and intermingling there at the host hotel with us. You can tell they care about the show, they care about the hobby, but guys, they care about you and I. They are about the modeler. And it's all about the fun. This is an NNL show, and it is absolutely awesome. I have never been disappointed at this show. It's always something that is inspiring. This year, again, the theme is 60 years, the 60th anniversary of Mustang, and celebrating pickup trucks, any pickup truck. I've always had to have a pickup, really, because it's a great way to haul your stuff, and a man's got to have a way to haul his stuff. But mark your calendar. I didn't even say the date. October 26th, Cartersville, Georgia. So it's north of Atlanta now. You don't have to deal with, depending on where you're coming from, you don't have to deal with all that heavy Atlanta traffic, at least from my end anyway. And you can go to the Facebook page or just go over to acme.com and check out their website. All the information you need is going to be right there. Had nearly 1,000 models in the contest last year. And let me tell you guys, the vendor area was probably 2.5, 3 times the size of the old venue. And let me tell you, the vendors were even out in the hall, but it was just, it was absolutely fantastic. And the fun and fellowship around the fire pit the night before, we just all had a great time. So can't brag about these guys enough. October 26th, be there. We'll have some fun, big time. All right, and lastly, this is one I touched on in, I think, one of the last videos. The Hope It Don't Snow show put on by the South Carolina Modelers Association. This one is January 18th of 2025. It has moved from the Marriott downtown to the 4 Points by Sheridan in Spartanburg. And guys, this is a whole lot easier to get to. It's right off of Business 85 at the old, it used to be Wilson World, but 4 Points. You just come right up, if you're coming from the south, just come right up to this exit, come right around, boom, there you are, right at it. So it's going to be a whole lot easier than having to go into downtown. And to me, it's a much nicer facility. So I hope to see you there for this one too. Guys, the camera's almost dead again. I keep forgetting to charge that. So you know what? Before we continue, let me charge it up a little bit and I'll be right back. First up on the workbench, I want to share with you a couple things that I've started kind of dillying with a little bit. And you know, the telephone booth car that we looked at that's just haunted me forever, started working on the engine, so I broke some of that apart, and I'll share with you some of that real quick. Got the engine and transmission put together. The fit and the flash had to be trimmed off of this thing. It's an old kit though, old molds, and you see the little gap there with the transmission, it rocking a little bit. So we'll have to do some finish sanding there still. And if you remember, it had the DeSoto valve covers where the original box art shows that it has the full Hemi head. Where'd it go? There it is. The Hemi head type valve cover. So I found these in the parts box, so I got a couple of these, and I've got them stripped and going to be cleaning these up and drilling them out for the plug wires. And got a much better looking alternator, whatever. And I don't know if I'm going to use a photo etch fan or if I'm going to keep it original. I'm swaying with just keeping it original like they were back then. A few other things I'm going to change. The injectors, I'm going to make some changes in these, and a couple of oddball little things. But overall, everything's looking really good. And I also started cleaning off the small block that's going to go in my Mustang Saturday night short track group build. And this is one of Model Car Videos, or MCV Products 3D prints. And let me tell you guys, this thing is awesome. Check that out. And where's the... I think I got the valve covers out of there. Well, they're off. But check it out. The Ford Racing. Hopefully I'm keeping that in focus there. Well, the Ford Racing valve covers. But everything on this thing is very, very well. Wow, this thing just don't want to focus. Videos, the carb or MCV. Wow, MCV Products, Matthews stuff. But I mean, check this stuff out. This is just awesome stuff. Check out that 4-speed. Linkage is just spot on right in there. I am really eager to get this thing together, and I'm thinking I've got 2 of these. I'm thinking about doing one in the car, as Clay Kemp put it, Batson style, and have one beside the car, as I've done many times. But I like them in the car too. Great looking set of headers, and I haven't got the other header or the intake off yet, but I'm getting there. I'll get that probably this evening. But really cool stuff. Next up, let me get this stuff in here real quick. I don't want to lose any parts, guys. Next up, I had mentioned that someone asked about doing what was a contour gauge and how to use it in the last video on the 3940 gasser. And I've shown it once or twice, but I've never really gone in depth as to the steps and stages that I use the contour gauge for. So I want to show you, you know what, I'll do this in a minute. I want to show you how I do that real quick. So to do that, I broke out this Mustang that is yet still to be stripped. You can see this was brush painted. And it's going to sit in the purple pond for about a month, I think. But you know what? That's okay. But I thought I'd pull this out because the shape, a couple of shapes in the body, I think are perfect for showing how a contour gauge works. Well, first up, when I use a contour gauge, and in the 3940 Ford, I mentioned that I used it to build the bulkheads in the trunk. Well, this is the contour gauge. Now, this one is probably 30 years old. I bought it brand new. This is a General brand 6-inch contour gauge. Now, you can get these things where the splines are made of plastic. This one happens to be metal. I like this one because it keeps its shape. A lot of contour gauges that don't have a lock on them, they just, when you take them away from the thing, if you tip them a certain way, the splines slide. This one is nice and tight, so it's easy to use. And what I use it for is, let's say, between the chassis, you know, when the chassis goes up in here, you have, like, this is a piece of plastic from the chassis. There's the firewall, for example. Well, as you see, between the firewall and the fender, there's a gap. Well, in a real car, there's not a gap. So that's where I start using the contour gauge. I want to fill in that piece between the firewall and the fender. So what I do is, you take the contour gauge, put it right up against the fender there, and you simply press. And as you see, you have the shape of the fender. And what I do with this is I take this out. Now I transfer this shape over to a piece of cardstock, 3x5 card. And then I will cut that out, and I will put this in here a couple of times and make sure my fit is right on. And once it is, and I get my final little sands and all that stuff done, then I will transfer the cardstock over to a piece of sheet plastic, and then I'll make the cut right where it needs to be that butts up to the firewall and goes out to the fender. So there you go, and most race cars have that as well. So there's your shape for that. Now, let's say I want to do a bulkhead on a little more complex shape. Let's say right here, I scratch build an interior or something like that, like I'm going to be doing with this one. Well, I'm going to need a piece that comes up from the chassis and goes right along here that separates the interior compartment from the trunk. Well, what I do is take the contour gauge, and once again, I get my angle, and I simply press right up to, well, the spot. Now, let's see if you can see. Yeah, there you go. See on both sides? And the reason I chose this Mustang was, as you can see, let me do it this way. See where this part of the body, the contour of the body is? And the same goes in here. So it has to fit that to look right. And so we put that in there. And then you get your splines, and you can take down here and press them all into place. Make sure that you got them all into the shape. Well, I'm hoping, yeah, there we go. A little light hit it. And as you can see, you've got the shape of that contour. Again, we're going to transfer this over to a piece of cardstock. And then once we try that a few times, make sure our fit, the width, the height is right. Then I'm going to transfer it over to sheet plastic, and boom, there you go. Now you can get contour gauges in different places. And by the way, they're easy to reset. And boom, there you go. You're ready for the next project. It's just that easy. But transfer it over to the sheet plastic. And you've got your bulkhead that goes there. If you want to do the fender block here, same thing as we did on the front. You just simply, well, right there. And there's your shape for a fender bulkhead for the rear. So these things, for me, with anytime you're doing scratch building, especially doing unique curves and things like that, these things are invaluable. I don't know how I lived without one before I discovered it. And like I said, this one's probably 30 years old, 25 or 30 years old, somewhere in there. And it's been a good one. It's been a good one. A lot of the new ones, I will say this, be careful of them, because these splines, let me push one out so you can see just how tiny they are. You see how small that one is. There's a lot of them that have larger ones, so you don't get as clean or crisp a look. I don't remember what the count was on this one. I think originally it had a count of how many hundreds or whatever, a couple hundred, or I don't know, something like that of these things. But whatever shape, it holds it. So contour gauges, like I said, if you're doing scratch building and bulkheads and things like that, these things are absolutely awesome. Thanks for the question on this. I hope that really helped, and get you one. Get you one. Fun stuff. I mentioned that I'd picked up some goodies. I'm going to take the camera down so I can show you this stuff, guys. I have a few things that are going to be donated to the Petty Museum, and it was asked that I have some cases for them made. So my buddy Bob Sparks with Creative Displays in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, he does display cases for a lot of guys in the country, other big name modelers too. But these two I had custom made by Bob for the items that are going to be going to the Petty Museum. And these things are high quality. They've got plastic wrapped around them right now. As you can see, this is what I keep on the desk. This is where the Fab Shop car goes, but I've got it out because it's going to a show this weekend. And that's another one. But you see how crystal clear and how great these cases are. And I have them made specifically for a particular size, because, and there, in fact, I picked up, as you see there, 5 more for my own use. But I have them made a little bit bigger. They're not as big as a 1/18 scale would be, but they are bigger than a 24/25 scale would be, because I mentioned Batson style a while ago, as Clay called it, where you keep the engine and some of the details outside the car so you see more detail. Well, I like to display them in the cases like that too, so I have them made a little bit bigger so they have some extra room for a few extra items to sit around the car. So, and it's a personal preference, guys. You can get them a whole lot smaller than that, and however you want them. But Bob did a great job with these. The Maurice Petty diorama, Hemi by Maurice, is going in this one, and the Fab Shop Pontiac is going to be going in this one. And so it is a little extra big, because there are some shop items that are going to be sitting in that one too. But I think that's it, guys. Let me get the camera back up here real quick. I can't think of anything else. I'll go ahead while I'm closing out and put this stuff back in the bag. I appreciate you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of you, maybe, or I hope, in Columbia this weekend at the South Carolina Mega Show. Look forward again to giving you a good report on that, and letting you know how that goes. But I'm kind of excited about it, because it is something totally new, totally different than I've ever done before. Appreciate you tagging along on this. That brings you up to date on some of the stuff on the Workbench, and I'll close with this. Many of you have asked, okay, what's the deal with the 32nd scale Earnhardt Lumina? And I've hem-hawed and told you, well, it's in the work. Well, it is. And the reason I'm not showing anything is its debut was supposed to be Atlanta last year. And as you remember, the windshields, the windows became a major area of concern, because they just flat didn't fit. It's out of a snap together kit, and I've had to modify so much. So I had to make new windows and a few other things. But while I was at it, I decided to make some other upgrades as well. So I have done that. It's pretty much finished, but I'm gonna wait a while before I actually show it to you. I kind of want that to be the surprise for Atlanta, but I will be sharing it before then and let you get a look at it and what all went into it. And here, I'll let you see a tire real quick. There's one of those 32nd scale tires. If it's been so long, maybe you don't remember them, but one of those 32nd scale tires. And let's see, where's a 25? There's one, and then there's one of the 24th scale tires. So I'll let you see that much. But you're gonna like it, because I'm just excited about it. There are a few things I'm gonna try to 3D print one, maybe two more little items that I think will be really good additions. But I don't know. I may not use them once I get them, but we'll see. We'll see. Guys, God bless. I'm rambling again. Sorry. Love you. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.